You've tried everything for your dog, but nobody told you that they might just be starving for light. Welcome to The Dog Who Asked for More, the podcast for pet parents learning to live differently because of their dog. Here you'll find honest conversations about behavior, nutrition, and the real parts of life with dogs nobody prepares you for, because you shouldn't have to figure this out alone. If you've ever changed the food, added the supplement, tried the things, and your dog still seems like they're running on empty, this episode is going to land somewhere real with you. Today, I'm talking with Jackie Jolie. She's been working on animal bodies for almost 20 years, horses, dogs, the whole connected picture. And then she got sick. And what she found out on the other side of that changed everything she thought she knew about health for animals and herself. We're talking about light. Not in a way that's going to overwhelm you, in a way that's going to make you think about what your dog's body, and honestly, your own, might just be missing. Jackie, before the red light and infrared light therapy blankets, what were you seeing in animals or even in your own life that made you feel like something was missing in how we support them?
Well, we'd have to go back to a little bit of my own personal story. I've been a equine and canine bodyworker for close to 20 years. So basically like a physical therapist for animals. I worked with mostly performance animals, but every horse owner has a dog that has an ACL tear or something like that that we would work with in rehab as well. And so through that career, I already learned how the body is all connected. It's not just all these different separate systems that you have to treat separately. The whole body's connected. If something gets injured or has an illness, there's going to be compensation and lack of energy drawn from somewhere in the body to go to where it needs to be healed. That was more on all the physiological side. As far as since we're going to talk about light today, I didn't know a whole lot about light in my career except for using lasers. Those have been what's been around for therapy since the 70s. I used some in some of my internships that I had through my business, but never knew the full story like I do now until I did have to come through my own tragic health journey. So I had Lyme disease 7 years ago. Because of the career I had, I still like to treat health holistically and naturally. I didn't want to take antibiotics for 3 months. And so I did heal my Lyme naturally with some herbal tinctures and protocols, but I was left with a ton of side effects that I really couldn't recover from, like brain fog, just having a lot of fatigue still, some bloat, some hormones were on the floor with my blood levels. And so I had a friend that turned me on to a topic called quantum biology. And that is a topic that if we open up that can of worms today, we'd be here for 8 hours. And I'm happy to come back on anytime to talk about quantum biology. It's the most fascinating conversation ever. But quantum biology looks at the fact of 3 pillars of health: light, water, and magnetism. Those 3 things are basically what brings every single living thing on this planet, grass, trees, plants, animals, and humans. It actually makes us produce and thrive in longevity. Like, it is based off of light, water, and magnetism, not diet, exercise, sleep, light, water, magnetism. And so the foundation of those 3 pillars truly is light, where light is the foundation of our health. It's the elephant in the room that nobody's talking about. So I turned myself into the guinea pig. I changed some light life habits that are free. They're just lifestyle changes. And I did end up adding red and infrared light therapy from a panel as a therapy device as well. I basically was trying to get my circadian rhythms back in check, which we can bring up in a second, and trying to give a boost of efficiency and health to my mitochondria, which are in every single cell. And we can also go down that if you want. I was able to basically get back to not only normal on my hormone levels and how I was functioning, but actually optimize my health. That now at 42, I was 35 when I got sick, I work like a Ferrari. My brain's just constantly going. I can relate information. I can retain it. I can talk to tons of people about all kinds of crazy quantum biology, and then also be able to create a product. Because what happened is once I learned the light lesson of all of us modern mammals are spending 97% of our time indoors under artificial light, in front of artificial light, light on at nighttime. And we are so disconnected from nature, the original healer that sets our circadian rhythms in check, that now we're getting sicker and sicker at younger and younger ages. And so when I looked at the animal industry that I had worked in for almost 20 years, loved to death, I saw that that was happening to them as well. Their health statistics are just as bad as us humans are. And so it's a light problem. So then I figured the solution is a light solution. So that's kind of the missing key part that I saw in the animal industry that we're wanting to bring as a company now, not just to present a product to purchase that does help heal with light, but bring that message of light and how it can truly heal. And it's the vital nutrient that our bodies are actually starved and deficient in.
Do you remember like a specific incident with yourself in this journey or with an animal where it kind of all just started to click, like an actual story about it?
I mean, I have to still kind of go back to my own just because when you experience things yourself, there's just so much resonation there. Basically, when I learned about circadian rhythms, which is our natural clocks in our bodies, all of us mammals have them. The only outliers would be our nocturnal animals that are a little different. You're supposed to have that 12 hours ish of daylight and 12 hours ish of nighttime. And so at the time, I wasn't living like that. I was living modern human lives, lights on all the time till really late at night, eating late at night, Wi Fi on at night, blue light only from LEDs and fluorescent bulbs, my phone in my pocket, dehydrating my mitochondria all the time. So, two things that I learned with it were the very basic foundations of quantum biology, and really the two things that you could change your health by multitudes by just changing these two things was seeing sunrise first thing in the morning with your eyes and your skin before you ever turn on any type of light, look at a screen, do anything else. Like sunrise or within that first hour of sunrise, you need to be outside, which this goes for animals too. And then trying to get sunlight throughout the whole day because that's what we would have gotten by living outside like our ancestors did. But the next key component is because, again, I was like, oh, I work on horses outside. I'm super healthy. I wasn't making my nights dark. And so, again, most people will be like, oh, yeah, I'm a construction worker or I ride horses or I do agility dogs and we're all outside all the time. But if you're also not putting in the darkness component, it doesn't matter. You're completely just crossing out everything that you did during the day. So when I first wanted to start being the guinea pig in this for myself, I said, okay, I'm going to do two things. I'm going to wake up at sunrise. I'm going to walk the dogs for 20 minutes and then come back in and have my normal day, go to work, all those things, and then make my nights dark. That was the only two things I was going to change at first to see if anything was going to happen. I'd already spent $10,000 in a year on supplements and tests and Lyme treatment and all these things. I didn't want to take another supplement. I didn't want to take another vitamin. I certainly wasn't going to go see another doctor. And so I was like, all right, we'll see what happens. I was 35. And in my whole adult life, I was never hungry in the morning. I promise I'm going to get to the point. I was never hungry in the morning, but I was also never seeing the sunrise. And so I was just never one of those people that woke up hungry. Everybody's like, I don't even understand how those people can wake up and just be starving. I started those light protocols, and within 2 weeks, not even 30 days, within 2 weeks, I was waking up and my stomach was growling like ravenous for breakfast. Ravenous. And I was like, okay, there is something to this. Now, granted, I haven't been able to switch that much of a light protocol over to animals yet. That's certainly our future goal to truly prove light and dark cycles. But again, the modern world of pets and also performance horses is not going anywhere. I can't ask two pet parents that work all day and have to pay their bills to stay home and let their dogs out as much as I do outside. So that's almost where then this product comes in as a supplement of light. Now, the stories on those, I mean, we helped a paralyzed dog walk again in 2 weeks just using light. Nothing else had worked. He'd been paralyzed for a year. He'd had steroid shots. He'd had physical therapy. He'd had muscle relaxers, pain pills, like all the things. He had a wheelchair. And nothing worked but light. And he was standing in 5 days and walking in 2. So we get all kinds of amazing stories like that. And it's just using light. But that truly shows like how powerful it is and how bad our bodies are starving for it.
That's incredible. I don't even know how to respond to that. That is such a cool story, first of all. But second of all, how did you get there? When was the first time that you used it? And then how did you figure out that applying that to horses, dogs, cats, whatever, would make that significant shift in healing?
Because really, at the end of the day, us modern humans have forgotten we are mammals. We are in the same biological kingdom as your dog, as your cat, as your rabbit, as the mole that's outside in the ground. We are the exact same. We don't like to think that anymore because we've just had so much convenience and so much of a different life. And yeah, our brain is bigger and our frontal lobe is bigger and we have different things about us that are a little more advanced, but we are still a mammal at the end of the day. And so all mammals have a diurnal circadian rhythm. So that just means when you talk to people and they're like, oh, I'm just a night owl, I'm a night person. That doesn't exist, actually. It's just that their circadian rhythms are so out of check that their adrenals and their cortisol ramp up through the night and keep them up. Because guess what? This blue light from these tech screens tell your body that it's noon instead of 8 o'clock at night, which raises blood sugar before you've even eaten a salad or a donut. Same for our pets. So 60% of cats are overweight, dogs are 60% overweight, horses are 40% overweight with metabolic issues. Do you think there's any wild dogs, cats, or horses outside that have metabolic issues? Absolutely not. It doesn't exist. So I already knew if the light worked on me, I knew it would work on animals because we're all animals. And like, yes, they have a coat of fur, and that is a massive popular question that we get all of the time. But I've read all of the science behind red light therapy and knows what's an effective treatment. Now, granted, before we like started the business, I did plenty of research and development. I was throwing light at everything. I had plenty of clients and horses and dogs to work with, so I had plenty of resources there to throw light at and make sure that I was going to do what I said I was hoping I was going to do. So really that's all it took off. I mean, I honestly believe God gave me this mission. I don't know what your belief system is as far as God or the universe or things happening for a reason, but it was gifted to me. And so I just keep following the path and things continue to do well. And everybody needs light in their life. So all animals need light. That's like one of our biggest taglines.
There are a lot of red light therapy blankets, laser things, all kinds of stuff out there on the market. So, at what point for you did this turn into creating the dog saw blankets, and why was it so important that you made this product, and what did you do differently about your product?
Great question. When I got started on this was about 6 years ago before we were launched to the public. So even back then, yes, there was lasers have been around for a while, so there's lots of laser companies around. But as far as red light therapy powered by LEDs, there was a decent amount of human stuff by then, but there was really only like 2 or 3 companies that were doing it for animals specifically. So there wasn't a ton of competition, and there's still not really on the animal side. There's still not a ton of competition. You'll see human products try to market theirs for animals as well. And if they've made the product well and you can get it contact method, you'll probably get lucky that it works, and depending on what the price point is. Of course, now it is a massive big health trend. So there's lots of companies that are jumping on the bandwagon to make a buck. They may not know the science, they may not have built the equipment correctly. So for me, my brain just doesn't work that way. Like I need to know how everything works from inside out. And then also I have integrity for me and my product. And so I want to make sure everything that we designed is truly going to work. So that's probably why we didn't launch until August of 2024. So as far as like launching, we still seem like a very new baby type of business for people. But a couple of the designs were different because number one, since I have the quantum biology background and I have the story of knowing that all of us are deficient in light, we need to be giving the body as much light as possible. So that's why, number one, I came up with a full body blanket. There's nobody else on the market that has created that. There's pads and there's like little isolated handhelds, but there's no full body blanket to actually illuminate the whole body and give it that systemic effect. In addition to that, since I was doing body work on animals for close to 20 years, I work on the ventral line of the animals all the time, which is the stomach side, right? So you have scars there from spay and neuters, colic, castration, surgery, bloat, C-section, but you have tons of musculature there and you're innervating with a lot of organs. Well, every single therapeutic blanket that's on the market, whether it's light or not light, there's no belly band. Like there's nothing innervating with the ventral line of the body, and it needs light, it needs therapy, support. So we have a patented belly band in our design as well, which came from my bodywork background. Now, in addition to that, everything else is wireless, which there's still some wireless products on the market. But when you're putting these on animals, you need to be wireless to have safety. We made ours full contact method, which any animal device really should be contact method. They do have a coat of fur that we are trying to penetrate through. You need to have red and near infrared. Near infrared is what penetrates the deepest. So a lot of products will say we're red light therapy, and they're only using red light wavelengths, which will do some stuff at the surface level, but you're not going to get deep therapeutic healing. And then in addition to that, we have 5 wavelengths in ours, which most products have 1 to 3. All wavelengths work, but we base our science and products off of what already exists in the research and nature. I don't ever believe that nature made a mistake, and she's the OG healer. So when you're outside in nature, you get all of these wavelengths. You get the red, the near infrared, and the purple. So I tried to match as many wavelengths that you would get from outside as possible, so the body responds to that really well. And then I don't know if there's any human devices made this way, but I know for sure the animal competitions I have, we have a ratio of 2 to 1 near infrared to red wavelengths. So you're getting double the near infrared wavelengths in our devices, which does give that deeper penetration to get through that fur of coat. And we have tons of case studies that we're showing, like we fixed X, Y, and Z, because I believe in that as well. So those are kind of some of the things that we differed as far as building it to try to be the optimal product in the market.
Do you have one of your jackets with you? So for someone who's never used something like this,
Yes.
let's talk about how it works and how to use your product specifically. But then let's talk about some of the things that they're going to notice after they start using it, as far as, how their dog is responding to it. We have one too. And the first thing that I want to point out is that when I first saw the jacket with Jackie at Global, she turned it on, and I don't know if it'll show here, but it looks like only every other light
Yes.
is lit up. And you said to me, no, that's the infrared and it's too high for our human eyes to see it, but it is on and it is doing its work. So I thought that was really neat. So can you also make sure that you explain that?
Yeah, so obviously, as you can see it kind of in the camera, it looks like some are on or some are off. So the ones that you can see lit are our red wavelengths. That's 630 and 660. Those are visible spectrums to our human naked eye. The near infrared spectrum and the violet is not available to our human naked eye. We can actually only see 0.003% of the full spectrum. The near infrared is what is in the bulbs that look like it's off. We have three wavelengths in those, 810, 830, 850. But if you were to take a picture of that with your phone, it'll actually pop up and those will shine like a purpley violet color. It's not super bright, but enough for you to see that they are on. And that's why our logo has red and purple in it. So those are the differences as far as when you turn it on. Obviously, when you do turn on the device, it goes on the dog. You've got a adjustable strap here at the chest. You've also got an adjustable strap here at the belly band. Wireless, easy on and off buttons. So when you do turn it on, lights come on, just like you saw with Emily. All of our products are already on a timer of 15 minutes for the treatment. So it'll have the lights on, it'll run for 15 minutes, and it'll turn off on its own. I tried to make it as user friendly as possible. It's very comfortable for most dogs. It actually almost kind of has like that weighted undershirt kind of effect that helps them kind of relax and feel secure. And then as far as usage, it is going to vary, right, from case to case. What I typically recommend for most customers once you get a device is to get at least one session a day for 30 days, like a loading light dose, and then reassess your dog. You know your dog best over anyone. And so by taking some of the light, sometimes you might have to add it in. The nice thing is with LEDs and battery powered devices cause any harm. You cannot cause any type of overdosage, burning, up, anything like that. So you are safe to add on extra sessions. And when I have a dog that might have like a really severe arthritis or injury or surgery or cancer or something like that, they are definitely going to need more lights. And if you have a pet that does not get outside that often either, they need more light. We need to start seeing this as an actual supplement, not just a therapy that's going to help physical problems and physical injuries. So, yeah, at least one session a day. Now, of course, I have people that reach out to me and I'm fine to offer that as far as consulting on specific cases, because again, there may be some really severe cases and they need a lot more light. So we'll come up with a protocol of having more sessions and longer sessions at one time for like that first 2 weeks or 30 days and then titrate down. We do have the leading photobiomodulation veterinarian on staff. He's been around since the 70s helping build lasers. So we can always use him as well for consultations and protocols. And then as far as benefits, even within the very first session, using it either for yourself or for your pets, you're going to see the pet more relaxed. It taps into their parasympathetic nervous system of rest and digest so the body can actually heal. You'll feel them just be more comfortable if they did have somewhere that was kind of maybe painful or little spasms in their muscles. You should see that be more relaxed. They should have a better collected energy later in the day. Like if they're an arthritic dog that's kind of more stiff most of the time, you should see that be smoother, even just within the first session. And then as you're adding that on consecutively, you should only see those improvements continue to increase. Most people that we've gotten feedback from so far is just they're really impressed by actually the light does do that, what we say it's going to do, but it's very quick. Light works very fast. And so people are like, oh my gosh, my dog that always had a limp for years is not limping after 5 days of red light therapy. And I mean, I know that it sounds like magic and like some overinflated promise, but I've been working with it for too long and light's just fantastic. And I know we built it well. So I love for people to just try it. Sometimes they're like, I didn't think this was going to do anything. We're just shining light on the body. But if I can just get people to try it, it really does sell itself. And obviously the humans, since they're animals, they can use this too. They can get one for their dogs and they can use it as well. And when they start using it and notice that their back pain is gone or their stomach ache went away or they didn't get as sick by putting the red light on their throat, that's just the proof in the pudding for them since they can actually experience it.
Right. And you now are about to be releasing, or maybe by the time this episode is out, will have released your blankets that can be used for humans, dogs, horses, whoever, which
Yes.
is also really cool because now you can snuggle under a blanket with your dog and everybody can get light treatment at the same time. What a great idea. What made you decide to add that in addition to the jackets?
I'll be honest, I didn't wanna get involved in the human industry. It's very concentrated. There's tons of companies out there selling stuff now that's red light therapy, wrap around the ankle or full bed or panel. But honestly, when I started traveling a lot for the company and I was at these horse shows and dog shows and even vet conferences, for one, I saw the riders and the jockeys. Well, they're athletes. If you're a horse rider, you know you're falling and getting injured at some point in time, if not multiple times in your lifetime. Like it's just a part of the job. And so they're athletes. They need to be taken care of their body just as much as they need to be taking care of the horse's body. So with the blanket that I made for the humans, it's not a panel. It's really hard to travel with a panel. And also on a panel, you're still not getting contact method. You can only get 6 to 12 inches away from that panel. You're still losing some light from reflection. So with the blanket, it rolls up and goes in a little carrying bag. You can travel with it. You can fly with it. You can lay it on a bed, lay it on the floor, lay it in a tack room. It's very versatile to be able to use anywhere. So I really thought about the riders initially. But then even once I see you going to global, me being at global for 4 days and your feet hurt and been standing on concrete inside a building all day and talking to like a gazillion amount of people that you never talked to in one day. You're exhausted. And so you still want to go to dinner or you still want to have energy for the next day. The red light therapy is literally the perfect reset. It's going to relax you, it's going to give you energy. So I just said, what the hell? Let's help the humans directly as well. So we will have a human blanket out in about 30 to 60 days.
Very, very, very cool. I'm very excited to see how that does and also probably try one out myself because I have seen what a difference it makes with Fitz. It's been a really cool journey to just kind of watch him interact with it. At first, when you get something like this, the Velcro is loud and it's a new thing that we're putting on him. And you have to go very slow when you have a dog like Fitz who is a little bit unsure about life in general. So you start adding things like this, it's a little different. So we spent a couple of days just Velcro making the noise and making the noise with the coat and turning the light on and showing it to him. And now you probably can't see him, but he's just chilling here behind
Yeah.
me with it on him. Sometimes he lays down under the desk and chills out. You can see, I don't know if you saw that, but he's like tilting back and forth side to side because he's starting to relax a little bit, but he's got that go, go, go feeling all the time. So it takes him a minute to realize it's okay for him to wind down, which was something that I noticed right away. I was like, oh, shoot, he's so used to just going all the time. He doesn't even understand that like relaxing is good for him. So he
Okay.
fights it, which is such an interesting thing. And I mean, we've been using it for a couple of weeks now. And still, it's just so interesting to see how each dog kind of adjusts to how the therapy works with them and how they are adapting it to their own little
Yeah.
therapeutic sessions. So I'm interested to see how it goes. Eventually, will he go ahead and just lay down or does he know that's the mode that he puts him in? But it will eventually he'll lay down after he fights it for a little while and then he'll just go to sleep and he'll just lay there until I take it off of him. It's just a really neat thing to watch. And I love that it is also preventative because it's helping prevent him from having injuries or issues as he ages, which is something that's obviously really, really important and something that you can start really young with a dog too. What is the earliest that you would recommend somebody start light therapy with their pet?
I had it on a miniature dachshund puppy this past weekend. He was like 3 months old. There's no contraindications to where there'd be any harm. Again, from the larger perspective of looking at light, like if your 2-year-old dog stays inside all the time, he's deficient in light, and that will end up affecting his health down the road. And the dogs are getting sicker at younger ages. It's a deficiency of light. So I recommend anybody to get it at any point in time as a preventative stage, especially if your dog doesn't get out and get a lot of natural light.
It's so cool when things advance and we learn things. And okay, maybe we've known about red light therapy. And like I said, people are using it for their faces, for aging, for all these things. And it's so wild to see how the technological advances we make as humans turn into how can we also help our pets. And I love that you figured that out so quickly with this.
Yes, thank you. I think at the end of the day, it'll help some human animals as well. So it's a little secret mission of mine, but it starts with the pets because we'll do anything for them. They're our kids, they're our family, and we'll just pour our hearts out for them.
Absolutely. Before we wrap up, I want to pause for something I call answering the ask. This is a moment where things shift from trying to fix into understanding what's actually going on. Because a lot of the time, the hardest part isn't doing more, it's realizing what we might actually be missing. Can you walk me through a moment where a dog was struggling and light therapy became part of what shifted?
There's so many. I guess since we already talked about Marley, my gut's telling me to talk about cancer. So there's always a lot of questions about dogs and cancer. And obviously, they're getting cancer at earlier and earlier ages, unfortunately. And sometimes it's cases that, like, that they have cancer and we're not getting rid of the cancer. So it is going to be what ends up taking that pet's life when it's time. So, where can we find the best supplement or the best modality or something that can support that body as best as possible for good quality days, weeks, months, years? And I've had enough cases now where dog's been riddled with cancer inside its body. That's his out whenever it's going to happen. And there's lots of supplements out there, there's lots of different things you can choose. But by using the light, they saw so many improvements in so many aspects of their dog. So, number one, they were able to see that the dogs just like moved. Their eyes literally were like more lit up and had more vitality to them just right after using the red light therapy session. Their moods seemed to improve and they seemed happier and just more go lucky. They had more energy. They also had more appetite. Sometimes it's really hard if you're giving chemo and stuff like that, if you're going down that route for cancer treatment as well, which is fine. You need stuff to be able to support the body going through all of that. It's really harsh and it's really hard for the body. So, light can give that non invasive treatment. The more supplements, the more injections that we put into the body, even if there's something that's good, you're still overburdening the digestive tract, the kidney, and the livers. You might cure some of the cancer, and then all of a sudden your dog's got pancreatitis or high liver enzymes because we've been overloading things with supplements, vitamins, injections, pharmaceuticals, all that. Light brings in that beautiful support naturally for the body that it responds to naturally, that's non-invasive. There's no side effects, there's no harm caused, and you get really good quality of life out of those dogs for as long as they decide to be here.
Very cool. And again, just another thing that we can do to help our pets be more comfortable as they're going through something that is painful, traumatic, difficult on their body, all the things. If someone is listening to this and they've been noticing small changes in their dogs, but they don't quite feel clear on what it means yet, what would you want them to sit with after this conversation?
My message is always light and empowering the pet owners. You as the pet owner truly do know your pet best than anyone else. Even your vet, if you've had them for 10 years as your vet, they see your dog every couple of months or twice a year or once a year. You live with that family member. So you know them better than anyone. Don't let anybody doubt if there's a little thing that's off that's just not normal for their personality or normal for their health. And yeah, every now and then there might be like a fluke. One day something's weird, but there's a consistent pattern. Listen to that. Animals can't verbally talk to us humans in the way that we think that we need to be able to speak, but they do speak to us. And a lot of times it is in a physical sense or a stare down or a limping leg, like, hey, lady, right here. So they can talk to us. You just have to kind of slow down enough to pay attention and just listen. And you can talk to your pet. You can ask them to show you signs. You can ask them to show you what you need. They might go right outside and start eating a plant that is exactly what they need, that the earth grew right there in your yard. So give them those options too. I'm always going to say the best thing you can do for your pet is get them outside. Get them outside as often and for as long as you possibly can. If you're reading a book, can you read a book outside? If you're working on the computer, can you work outside? If you're spending time with your kids, can you do that with the pet outside? Always, always outside. It's the best healer. No man-made product can ever replace it. And guess what? It's free. It's the best return on investment for you and your pet's health ever. So that will always be my message.
Love that. And to your point, anybody who has been following along on my Instagram content has probably seen in stories that I created an outdoor office with a nice little umbrella so that I can sit a little bit in the shade. But I bring my laptop out and I sit on my deck so that Fitz can play and Toby can be outside because Toby, 15 years old, his favorite thing to do is what we call sunnies. And that's sprawl out in a sploot on the deck and just lay there smiling his little face off. And I love it. It is the best return of investment. You're just sitting out there enjoying your time together. And yes, I'm being productive, but they're also getting to have the light and be outside and just have that wonderful experience that we don't get to have very often, especially in the winters here in Iowa. It's just such a fun experience. It's definitely a wonderful way to connect with your pets. So tell everybody how they can find you, how they can get their own jacket or blanket, all the good things about Animal Soul.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you. You can literally just go straight to the website, animasoul.com. All of our products are on there, spec text, information, our case studies, science, the team, everything's on there. There's a direct email that also comes straight to me. So if you have any questions on your pet or questions about the light therapy products, please don't hesitate to reach out. You can look up my name for podcast interviews, just like this one. We also have all the social media things: YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. We're on all of those. So reach out, watch all of our stuff. Please present us with any questions you've got and let us light up your pet.
If you came into this episode thinking red light therapy was just a trend, I hope some of that shifted a little. What Jackie kept coming back to is something I want to leave you with. Your dog can't tell you what's missing, but they're showing you all the time. And if you slow down just enough, you already know how to read it. And you don't have to add more. You don't have to fix everything at once. Sometimes the thing that's missing is the simplest thing: light, air, outside, presence. You kept going, you kept paying attention. That's the whole thing. So be kind, spread joy, and remember, your dog is already trying to tell you what they need. You just have to slow down long enough to hear it.